Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to do a reading update for this week. I read a lot of books. I did not mean to, it just happened. And I already finished one round for the end of summer mood reading readathon. Like I said, I wasn't exactly trying to be competitive, it just happened. We'll see how I do next week. But yeah, I thought that since I did all the questions, I would do an update with all the questions. So we can start fresh with the second round next week. Or tomorrow, I guess. So, I'll tag the hosts in the video later. Let's just get started. The first book I read was Mad Mabel by Sally Hepworth. I've been hearing about this from everyone. Most recently from Becca Books and Bujo. She liked it a lot, and I've been meaning to get to it, so I don't know, I decided to do it. It's about Mabel. She is 81 years old, and she's lived on her idyllic street, Kenny Lane, for 60 years, longer than anybody else. She's kind of a curmudgeon, and this little girl next door kind of befriends her, but basically demands to be her friend, which is very funny. But people don't suspect the past that she's trying to conceal. She is basically the youngest person to be arrested for murder in her, in Australia. That's what it was. So, yeah. We find out about that. Things are more than they seem. She's, I liked Mabel, put it that way. And I love the little girl. She's a little bit insufferable, but it's still funny. So, to answer question 1, name a good quote from this book. Honestly, it's like the beginning of the book. It's hilarious. My name is Elsie Mabel Fitzpatrick, and I am 81 years old. I want it on the record that I don't look 81. Not because I'm particularly attractive or youthful looking. On the contrary, I've seen hairless mole rats more attractive. I mean, come on. That's a curmudgeon, and she's amazing, and I love her. I will say that there is some swearing in this one. Actually, I haven't seen it. Sally Hepworth is a secular author, but I don't really remember that much swearing in her other books. There's definitely more in this one. There's a lot of bad guys in this one. There is a bit of non-consensual adult stuff that happens when she's a teenager. So there's that. But it was a really good read. I loved her. It kind of reminded me of The Brilliant Life of Eudora Honeysett. I don't remember if she swore, but it's another similar thing with a curmudgeon old lady and a little girl, so yeah. Next book is a DNF, The Lost Orphans of Leon by Helen Peruso. So this is supposed to be, this takes place in Lyon, France in 1942. Yvette Dubois, her husband's brother, dies, and he inherits a remote chateau, and he basically asks his wife to kind of take care of the place while he's working or whatever during the war. And she finds some orphans hidden in a secret hideout because no one knew that the brother died, and he was part of the resistance, so they kept on with the operation. We also get the point of view from a girl whose mother was helping the operation, and so she's kind of roped into helping too, so there's these two different women. But really, I DNF'd it because it just wasn't that much about orphans. I mean, I guess when I want a story about orphans, I want a story where you focus on a couple orphans and you invest in them And I think I got through like 40%, and she basically sent the 2 orphans she found to like a safe location, and then we never hear from them again. And the next 30% is just her like husband being a monster. And you can see where it's going. She's starting to have a thing for the gardener, or the servant there, I guess. And then the other girl, her story is about falling in love with a communist, I guess, and she's a Quaker or something, and she knows her parents won't approve. And so it's like these 2 different loves that just can't happen, and I don't care. I want to rescue some orphans. I do not care about your love lives. So yeah, that's why I DNF'd it. And I'm hoping Audible's not letting me return it, so I need to call to get them to help me return it. So yeah, that's question number 2. What was the exact moment of this book where you felt it really hooked you and made you want to keep reading? Really, the beginning is what hooked me, because it talks about, like, kids running away from being shot, like, by the Nazis. So, like, it was a really exciting beginning. But, yeah, if you were bored or DNF'd, please share, which I did. The prologue pulled me in, and then the book veered off into the love lives of these 2 women. Oh, yeah, here's my note. Marie was the younger one and falling for a communist, and the older one was married to a jerk. And we also see the jerk blaming her for miscarriage. Trigger warnings abound. And there's a lot of swearing. And look, I don't have that much of an issue with swearing. But this book sucked. Maybe because I wasn't expecting a romance. So, yeah. Next book is Escape from Amsterdam by Laura Lee Bliss. I gave this one 4 stars. I heard about this one from Jeanette from Jane Reads. A university student smuggles children out of Amsterdam. We have Helen Schmidt. She's studying to be a teacher, but she doesn't realize that the war is going to start, and she's going to end up helping Jewish children escape. And then we have Eric Missman, who falls in love with her. But, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fine. But, yeah, okay, let me read the question. Is this book your favorite genre, or is it something out of your comfort zone? It is my favorite genre. And did it surprise you in any way? It took too long. Like, we spend at least 75% of the book with them waffling. Like, she doesn't want to believe that the war is that bad. And, well, neither does he, really. Like, she wants her not to do the dangerous thing because he loves her and he wants her safe. And it's like, can we stop focusing on your love lives again and rescue some orphans? Like, I don't know. It was hard for me to have a ton of respect for him when he was willing to leave a few kids, like, to die if it meant keeping her safe. Like, if you let children die to protect your loved one, you can, yeah, he ended up helping her, but it took a while for them to get to that. Like, it took a long time. So, yeah, I give it 4 stars because I'm not saying I didn't like the romance, but they were frustrating. Like, both of them. So, yeah. Then I read Leap of Faith, Wildflower Valley, Book 1 by Kate Hewitt. I give this one 5 stars. So we have Abby and Josh Bryant. They're just this suburban couple. I forget where they're living. Oh, no. I forget exactly where they're living in the moment. But they have 4 kids, and her husband is kind of a little out there. He has wild ideas, and his latest scheme is to move to West Virginia and homestead, and she's horrified. Okay, New Jersey is where they're from. They have a nice life in suburban New Jersey. So basically, this entire first book is about him trying to convince her to do it because he hates the runaround life, and it was a good journey. I don't know if I fall for it all, but yeah, he wants to live off the land, and she's very type A, and they start watching homesteading shows. So yeah, they get their kids involved, and it was interesting to see her journey to accepting this new scheme. So, question number 4 is, what's the first sentence of this book? Did it make you want to keep reading? Did the first paragraph make you want to keep reading? I kind of wrote the first paragraph. They say there is a splendor... No, great. They say there is a spender and a saver in every marriage, but that's just a nicer way of saying one person is sensible and one person isn't. At least that's what I'm thinking when my husband Josh comes bounding into the kitchen one February afternoon, a look of excitement and determination on his face. So yeah. Next one is the sequel, Both Feet In. I give this one 4 stars. They're on the land. This one's a free space. So yeah. Not a lot to say there because I mean, they moved there because it's the next book. And it's a series. I found it funny, though, at the beginning where, the movers can't get their truck up the hill and, to their little new house. And they're, fuming because they have to carry their furniture and, boxes and stuff up this gigantic, steep hill because the movers don't want to ruin their truck. And they say that's not their job to, hoof it up the hill. And it just made me laugh because I'm like, yeah, if you were just your typical suburban couple, I would feel sorry for you, but you want to live off the land and struggle and take pride in your struggles, so you can carry your TV up a hill. You're fine. Sorry, one of the podcasts I listen to, they say you're fine instead of you're fine, and it just got stuck. Anyway, it was just really funny that they did that to them. So yeah. I don't know if the next 2 are going to be on audio. There's 2 more in the series. I kind of want to see it, finish it. But they're not on audio, so I don't know if they're ever going to be, because they came out last year. But, if I don't finish it, it's fine. Then I read Chords of Green and Gold, Tales of Eucharia #1 by Sarah Baran. I give it some 5 stars. I'm probably going to finish the series this month. I have 1 more left. They're just short and fun. This one is Rumpelstiltskin meets the Frog Prince. We have Prince Dorian of Anura. Basically, he turns green. He snubs a princess and she curses him to look froggy-like. And so the king, trying to find a woman to break the curse, he decides to host a lavish golden ball. The only problem, the king is short on funds, and so then we have Lydian Miller. She's her father's pride and joy, and he is so proud of her skills as an artist that he drunkenly claims one night that she could turn straw into gold if she wanted to. And the king hears about it, and we go from there. And they meet. What are the best things about this book is the question for this one. What did the author do very well? Character, writing, style, etc. I would say it was a great mashup of stories that made a lot of sense. I rooted for the couple and wanted her to figure out who he was because, wait, because she doesn't know that the green looking creature who's helping her out is the king, is the prince. And so it's kind of funny. So yeah, I give it 5 stars. It was fun. It was a good read. Then I read I thought I would finish the Hearts of Cheyenne series. So I read A Choice Considered, which is the second one. I read the first one a long time ago, a couple years ago, but I never finished it because I don't know, I wasn't compelled. But I've been trying to knock out some series, so we're doing this. I gave this one 4 stars. This one's about Melody Doyle. She has been following her dad around the country as he helps build the railroad. And she announces that she wants to stay in Cheyenne, and her father pretty much presents her with a arrangement. He'll allow her to stay if she finds a husband. And she actually agrees to this, so normally I hate matchmakers, but this was actually funny because she was in on it, so it was fine. I hate it when, like, she's not into it and people do it behind her back, but it was kind of funny. And Charles Decker is the banker, and he has a thing for her, and it's kind of their thing. It was just funny. And the question is, how long has this book been on your TBR? How do you feel now that you've read it? It's been on my TBR since September 2024. It was fine. And then I finished the series with A Truth Revealed, Heart of Cheyenne Book 3. Gave it 3 stars. I really wasn't even a little interested in it. I don't even know if I should count this because I really just skimmed it because I didn't care that much. I just wanted to see kind of how things turned out for the other 2 couples. This one is just depressing. We have Laura Evans comes to live with her father. Her father sucks. Like, even before we find out other stuff. And she's, like, trying to please him. And then we have this preacher who wants to, like, minister to the Native Americans. And then, Preacher Wilson Porter. And then a tragedy happens that brings them together, and so the question was, did the description live up to what was inside this book? Did it give too much away? Did the cover live up to what was inside the book? It did live up to what was inside the book. I just didn't care for it. It was kind of boring. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite, but I'm glad I finished the series. And I don't think I'm going to read any more. I had Treasured Grace, which is another series. Well, the first book is called Treasured Grace. I think it's called Heart of the Frontier, but it sounds like it's another miserable tragedy, and I just don't want to. So I literally put it in, I actually have a folder on Goodreads called Owned But Not Interested In, so that I could take some stuff off my TBR. Because I can't return it. Next book was a nonfiction book I've been reading since August 1st. It's called Fat Girl Skinny by Amy A. Archer. Amy is a podcaster I listen to. She talks about reality shows. And she was also covering the new episodes of Little House on the Prairie, or, the new show on Netflix. And I wanted to listen to those episodes. So I signed up for her highest level on Patreon. And she also happens to be reading her book on there. So I decided, while I have the membership, I'm going to listen to her read it. And, it's her memoir about her weight loss journey, essentially. Honestly, that's not normally a thing that interests me. But I like Amy from the podcast, and, why not? Promote her book, I guess. That being said, this is a weird question for this book, but that's the next one I finished. What is the main character's talent, gift, or superpower? How do you think it would hold up in the Miss America pageant? I mean, she's a writer. She's a real person. So she's writing a memoir. She wrote a memoir in 2016. So that's talent, I guess. And she makes you feel her pain in her book. And the woman can describe some bodily fluids way too well. There was way too many makeout sessions in this while she processed her divorce in bars. I was a little uncomfortable, but I don't know. It's someone I like, so I finished her book. I don't think Miss America would appreciate it, or the amount of F-bombs that she can say in one sentence. But I give it 4 stars. There were some parts that were entertaining. Then I read The Children on the Train by Anna Stewart. This one came out on August 4th. I gave it 5 stars. This one would have been perfect for the question, did the description fit up to the book? No, it did not. Because, okay, I'm going to read it. Greta guides 2 small children onto the train. Placing her arms protectively around their shoulders, she prays the journey is uneventful because she must get 6-year-old Adele and 8-year-old Rosa out of Germany. Greta always, she always wanted to be a mother, and so she can't have children, so she's devoted her time to helping Jewish children escape the Nazis. And this book makes it sound like she has to get her best friend's children to safety because they are the closest thing she has to family. What are you talking about? Literally, the first chapter we meet Greta, she's like hunting down children to bring them to the Netherlands from Germany. So like she picks one up in her car and we see that. And the children that she's talking about are Helene's children. We hear about Helene. We alternate between Greta and Helene's perspectives. And Helene and Greta meet like during the war. This description makes it sound like they're best friends. And these are her beloved best friend's children. And those are the only 2 kids she's getting to safety. No, we see Greta and Helene helping many children to safety in this book. Like, this isn't about just her 2 kids. We get to know them because of Helene's perspective, but it's just silly that they say that in the description. It's not Helene, it's Helena. Why do I call her Helene? It didn't sound right. But yeah, they're like not best friends. And it's not about rescuing Helena's children. It's about Greta rescuing as many children as she can rescue and getting them out of Germany. I'd say the more depressing part is that we know, because it kind of happened pre-war. We're talking like 1938, 1939. So you know war is coming, but Hitler's already making himself Hitler before the war even is declared. So they're trying to get the kids out. And so we see that. But yeah, we see them become friends. And she does get them out. Spoiler, but this isn't about her frantically trying to get these 2 specific kids out. So yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it anyway. I give it 5 stars, but it's a very deceiving description. So, yeah. Then I finished 3 books today. Breaking Point by Casey Watson. I give it some 5 stars. Casey is a foster carer, and I read different books about, basically different foster carers write books about the kids they take care of. So I have 3 ones that I follow: Casey Watson, Maggie Hartley, and Kathy Glass. Kathy Glass's book comes out in September. I cannot wait. She's my favorite. But she had stopped writing books for a while because she had retired from fostering, but I guess she has something now. And Maggie's is coming out next week, so you'll hear about that book. But this one is Casey's latest, and this one was more tragic. She's taking care of this 15-year-old kid named Daniel who was like in a children's home, and he's very troubled and, yeah, addicted to stuff he shouldn't be addicted to. And it was very hard because usually in these stories we see the success stories, but this one wasn't one of those. Well, at least not during Casey's time. We know that it turns out well for him in the end, by the epilogue, but, like, yeah, it was a sad read, which brings me to the question. How did the book make you feel? The good, the bad, happy, sad, and I have to admit I picked this one on purpose for this question because I knew that a fostering memoir would make me feel something. And this one made me feel rage for the people who abandoned him. Sad because he couldn't accept the help that Casey was offering. And just sad how it turned out. And sad that she felt guilty because she had to let him go. Because she ended up having to foster another little girl during that time, and she had to pick between the kids. And you don't have a 6-year-old around a raging drug addict 15-year-old who's pretty much a grown man. So it was sad. Then I needed to cheer myself up, so I read the next 2 books in the Tales of Eucharia series. I read My Fair Mermaid, gave it 5 stars. The Little Mermaid meets Pig, I don't know who this is, I guess My Fair Lady, Pygmalion? I don't know what that means. Maribel has learned to stay quiet. She's an orphan relying on the generosity of family, and her cousins torment her, so she's kind of decided to be quiet and keep the peace. After helping her cousin rescue Prince Frederick from a shipwreck, Maribel finds herself as the unwitting accomplice in her cousin's plot to marry the human prince. The plan is simple. Maribel will distract Frederick's grumpy best friend, Professor Hadrian Higgsley, so that the scheming mermaid can cozy up to the prince. Yeah. I liked kind of the grumpy sunshine of it, because Hadrian was pretty grumpy. And I liked her a lot, Maribel, but her cousin sucked. We got a lot of the same things as Little Mermaid. The walking on land, the voice being gone thing. There's a lot of good elements. Describe the setting of the book. Did you like it, and would you want to go there? I mean, I liked it because it was very watery, oceany. I liked the descriptions of the water and just them swimming around. It was fun. So yeah, I'm starting to really enjoy Little Mermaid retellings. And the last one is A Bond of Ice and Sunshine, Tales of Eucharia number 3, 5 stars. The Snow Queen meets King Thrushbeard. I don't know King Thrush. I cannot speak. I do not know King Thrushbeard, but I enjoyed this story. Frederick is trying to get Eliza to marry him, and she's very much an ice queen. She cannot, like, get close to him, I guess. She's being very cold to him. So she's the ice queen, and so it's kind of his madcap journey to be her husband and show her that he will go to the ends of the earth for her. Talk about the main character of this book. Did you relate to him or her? Why or why not? I liked Freddie, Prince Frederick, but do I relate to him? Gosh, no. He is an optimist, and I cannot do optimist. He would make me insane, and I'd be an iceberg. But I did find him charming, and I liked Eliza more, even though she was kind of cold. And the Ice Queen, she's snarky, and I appreciate it. So, yeah. That is all the books I read in literally the first 7 days of August. I'll probably do another update the next time either in a week, or if I actually make it through the second round of the Mood Reader questions. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!
Speech on. Close. Button. Stop recording.